Call it Park Bubba Sparks.
Booty, 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 rockin' everywhere. Booty, booty.
Short. Hey, I don't know what to do.
What's up, YouTube? It's Desi, and I'm back with another video, you guys. If you guys continue to see me looking at the clock, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm making it time as far as for lunch. So I'm gonna just talk to you guys briefly for another 8 minutes or so, discussing as far as for phlebotomy pay. Now this time I'm not going to talk about as far as for how much I made for phlebotomy. I know you guys usually like those type of videos. This video is actually going to talk about how much does a traveling phlebotomist make a year, and can you survive with the salary. So I was able to kind of look into it a little bit more because a lot of people want to know as far as for, is it best for them to become a traveling phlebotomist versus just working inside of, like, you know, a lab or something like that. And honestly, you get way much more money when you're traveling. So if you're you know, you went to school for medical job or something like that, and you want to know, man, am I going to get as much money traveling versus, you know, the money that I would get just working at the actual company? And the answer is yes, you will get a lot more money doing the traveling department versus just working, you know, the regular job. Now, the reason that I kind of looked this up is because I felt like, you know, with medical assistant, I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers, they've been posting their schedule as far as for being a travel medical assistant and showing as much money as they've been making. And I will do a video as far as for that as well too. I swear, it's like every time I'm trying to do a video, something interrupts me. Alright, so with the traveling phlebotomist, basically a phlebotomist is basically when you take blood from a patient, donor, whoever is in the medical setting with you at the time, that'll be the person you're collecting blood with. Usually when you're doing the phlebotomy work, usually you'll have everything set up with you, ranging from a tourniquet, you know, gauze, also cotton balls. You want to make sure you just have all those type of informations with you. Materials I meant with you. Just making sure that you're prepared. So let's jump right into the salary part. Travelers phlebotomists make roughly of $20 an hour. Now that's very good because most people, if you watch most of my videos as far as for phlebotomy, especially with working at a plasma center, they start you off very low. And the reason why they start you off very low is because they're training you as far as for how to stick and how to pretty much handle the patients. So $20 an hour is pretty much decent. Now this is here in Florida. I'm not sure as far as for where it's at in other states, but however, this is pretty much where it's at. Now I did provide for you the top paying 5 states for phlebotomy, and I'll get right into that in just a moment. All right, so traveling phlebotomists can make up to $20 an hour, basically ranging from $41K a year. So $41,000 a year as far as for traveling phlebotomists is pretty much decent money. For medical assistants, for the most, we make at least up to like $32,000 to $35,000 a year. So I definitely feel like $41,000 a year is definitely a growth. If you want to break it down a little bit more, traveling phlebotomists make $20 an hour. That'll range about $700 a week, and that'll range about $3,500 a month. So that's pretty much stable. I feel like you're stable with that. I mean, depending on how many kids and whatnot you have or your situation, I feel like this bracket is pretty much stable. Now, most people may have their husbands that can help them out or whatnot, but I feel like with the status of the money and all this stuff with that, that's pretty much a decent price. All right, so if you look up on the website, the lowest that they'll range as far as for phlebotomy that's traveling, the lowest salary was $21K a year. Now that depends on what state that you are. And the highest was $76,000 a year. So that's not as bad. Now I know most people probably thinking $76,000 a year, what do I have to do? So what I did was I looked up the different types of traveling phlebotomists, and this actually might just help you out. So there's different types. The top 5 that I did write down. One, you have the director travel. So the director travel phlebotomist, that's pretty much like, you know, the overall board person as far as for that. So pretty much that's probably like way past HR. They make $89,000 a year, and that's pretty much $49 an hour. If you're talking the head of the hospital, they make as far as for $88,000 a year, and that's $42 an hour as far as for them. So the head of the hospital, say for instance you're working for I'm gonna just name one here, Mayo Clinic, and you're pretty much a traveling phlebotomist for Mayo Clinic, but you're like the head, you'll be making $88,000 a year, and that'll range around $42 an hour, which isn't bad. That's why I'm like, you know, it's good to be a traveling, you know, medical assistant, or good to be a traveling phlebotomist, but it depends on the position that you are at with the company. You also have contract traveling. They make at least $87,000 a year, and as far as for $42 an hour as well too. So traveling, contract traveling is basically like when you're signed up with a third-party contract or something like that. Say for instance you're doing like 6 months of traveling, and they're like, look, you got to sign this contract to be with us for 6 months. Once you're with us for 6 months, we'll then go ahead and push you onto another hospital, and you can pretty much work with them. That's how that pretty much works. You also have home-based phlebotomist. So home-based phlebotomist usually makes around $85,000 a year, ranging around $41,000 an hour. I'm sorry, $41 an hour. So I definitely feel like this is one that's major as well too. A lot of people like the home-based one because they pretty much able to bring their own stuff to the patient's house and everything like that. Oh my gosh. And that's just, you know, that's just something different. And I feel like that's something that's just a lot more convenient. The last one I have on here is director of the hospital. So that's pretty much basically where you're the head of the hospital. Not like the head of the hospital like the first one that I named, but you're probably like the director of the hospital, like the management part as far as for phlebotomy. So say for instance, you're probably like the management for the lab part. That's what they mean by director of that part. They make at least $76,000 a year, and that ranges around $36 an hour. So that's pretty much how that breaks into that. Now, if we're talking what's the highest paid states for phlebotomy, the highest paid states for phlebotomy. So you have Cali ranging around $45,000 a year. You also have District of Columbia, basically DC. They have $43,000 a year. You have New York City, that's at $42,000 a year. You also have Alaska, that's at $42,000 a year, and the last one will be Seattle, Washington, which is at $41,000 a year. So like I said, when doing traveling phlebotomist, it depends on the position that you're at. Also, it depends on the location that you're at, and that'll pretty much let you know if you're getting your money's worth as far as for that particular you know, job. I definitely feel like if you are a phlebotomist and you went to school for phlebotomy, definitely check into being a traveling phlebotomist. Like I said, as long as you have your own materials and everything like that, that should work out perfectly fine for you. In the meantime, comment down below and let me know what you think. If you stay in any of these states that offers a lot of money, let me know. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Let me know, is it really worth it? Hopefully this helps you guys out. Don't forget to like excuse me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, you guys, and y'all stay safe. Peace, y'all.